Juan Pablo Montoya is going to make another start in the Cup Series. Andretti Autosport is also coming to the Cup Series, and Corey LaJoie had some interesting comments about leaving Spire next season, so let's get into that coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, 23XI yesterday put out this teaser, which was pretty obvious that it was going to be Juan Pablo Montoya, the two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, 7 F1 wins, 10 Champ Car wins, 5 IndyCar wins, 2019 IMSA champion, 1999 kart champ, and he's also won the 24 Hours of Daytona, and he's won the LMP Amateur Pro-Am, I should say, division in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. He'll be racing that Mobil number 50 in the last run for the Mobil number 50 for 23XI at Watkins Glen. So that is a huge story, big news. He should be competitive there. He has won at Watkins Glen before. All of his wins in the Cup Series have been on road courses, so I would expect him to hold his own there. Now, he has never driven this car. A lot of people are going to say that. But I just read off all the stuff that he has driven in his past, so something will translate. He'll probably be pretty solid in that race. Not saying he's going to win or anything like that, but he'll definitely be solid in the race. That being said, all the accolades and things that I just ran off and listed there, it's crazy that some people still, the main thing they remember him for is running into the jet dryer because the steering locked up. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't like he drove into the jet dryer. Steering locked up. He hit the jet dryer. It blew up at Daytona, so that's for NASCAR fans. That's unfortunately going to be the thing that a lot of people remember. But like I said, I read off the accolades. He's won a ton of stuff. He is a really good race car driver, and it's just the way it goes. Saw this from Adam Stern in a video released on Thursday. Andretti Global President J.F. Thorman announced that the team is planning to expand its operation into the NASCAR Cup Series. And so let's go find that video and take a look at what he exactly said.
We're the only ones that compete in the amount of series that we do and in the ambition that Mike still has of, we still have to close the loop, obviously, with Formula One. That's well documented, and hopefully NASCAR. And then we're going to have a race virtually every weekend, and it'll keep our name out there. It'll keep us busy. But I think that's the biggest differentiator is that we're doing these at the same time.
So there you go. I mean, it can't get much clearer than that. I already made an episode previously a few months ago where Mario Andretti said that, hey, I can't wait to get into the Cup Series. Mario Andretti basically already leaked it, basically already confirmed it, but now we've got flat out confirmation, hey, we're coming and racing in the NASCAR Cup Series, and hopefully we get that done soon, to paraphrase what he said there. But that begs the question, where will it be? And, we've been down this road before. If you watch the live streams and, the previous couple, I've made at least 2 episodes about this, but let's get into it one more time. We'll hit the Cliffs Notes. It's most likely going to be Spire because Gainbridge is a sponsor of Spire. Gainbridge has heavily invested into Spire. Gainbridge on the IndyCar side of the Andretti Autosport or Andretti Global, whatever it's called now. Gainbridge owns a piece of that IndyCar team, so you would imagine that if Andretti comes into the Cup Series, it's going to be with Spire. Now, of course, nothing's official and anything can happen. As we've seen in this silly season, anything can happen, but you would assume, all signs point to it's going to be Spire. Spire with that injection of cash, recently becoming the most interesting team in the Cup Series. They just got rid of Corey LaJoie, which begged the question of who's going to replace Corey LaJoie over there in that car. And then, of course, Marco Andretti's name is popping up and things like that because of the Andretti Global Gainbridge. I always say Gainbridge link. So there you go. That's that. We've covered that ad nauseum at this point. The other thing that we've covered several times on this channel is Honda possibly being a big push behind that. Honda executives have come out numerous times and said, hey, we are interested in coming to the Cup Series. Of course, Honda is connected with Andretti on the IndyCar side of things as well. So that is an easy connection to make as well. So you would imagine if Honda comes in, one of those teams would be Andretti Spire, whatever they would rename it, or however that deal comes about. So you'd assume that would be at least one of the Honda teams that comes about. That being said, it's not necessarily the lead pipe lock that, necessarily everybody thinks it is, because, Andretti kind of works with everybody in IndyCar. And IndyCar Next, they work with Honda. They got Formula E. They got a partner over there. In the supercars in Australia, they work with Ford, GM. They work with GM trying to get the Cadillac deal in F1. So they work with, and there's more stuff. I'm not going to list every single thing. I lied. I will list every single thing. IndyCar, Indy Next, Formula E, Extreme E, IMSA, Supercopa, Supercars, and so there you go. And even in that video, if you want to watch the whole thing, he talks about we'll have something racing every single weekend or every single day or something like that. So that's the goal. But they work with everybody. So the Honda thing is not necessarily just the lead pipe lock that everybody thinks it is. But it is interesting, and it does completely make sense if Honda comes into the sport that they would work with Andretti because they've already got the relationship there. All that aside, it's really exciting to have Andretti's back in NASCAR. Mario Andretti won the Daytona 500, one of the greatest race car drivers of all time, and the fact that we will get a chance to see, hopefully, Richard Petty and Mario Andretti at the racetrack several times next season, because Richard Petty goes all the time. I would assume Mario Andretti is going to make it out there at least a few times. And then, of course, who do they put in that car now that Corey LaJoie is gone? That's still a question over there. If, of course, they go with Spire, which everybody is assuming they're going with Spire. But yeah, good news. Good news all the way around. Speaking of Spire and Corey LaJoie being replaced, Breakard had this quote, and this is the quote that is getting the most media attention from Stacking Pennies, where Corey LaJoie addressed the leaving Spire situation or whatever. I'm pretty motivated to still be the first one to put a banner on the wall at Spire, a real one. They have a trophy that wasn't really a team back in the day. So there's two ways of looking at this, and most people are looking at it one way. So I'll present the way that people aren't looking at it first, and then I'll present the way that most people are looking at it. One way of looking at it is Corey LaJoie just didn't think about exactly what he was saying. He didn't necessarily mean that as disrespect to Justin Haley. He didn't necessarily mean that as disrespect to the Spire team that fielded those cars back in the day, that small skeleton crew of people they had making that operation work at that time. So from that perspective, it's maybe just a case of he didn't think before he spoke. The other perspective that most people are looking at it from is this. His girlfriend broke up with him. He's bitter. He's lashing out. He's saying stuff just to be spiteful and petty. And as far as petty goes, this is as petty as it gets, because not only did he throw shade at Spire, he threw shade at the one win that they have, and he threw shade at Justin Haley, which is ironic because Justin Haley went to Rick Ware Racing, and Rick Ware Racing has been notoriously the worst team in the Cup Series, and Justin Haley is outrunning him every single week. So I might would have kept Justin Haley's name out of my mouth if I wanted to throw some shade. Maybe keep the shade thrown specifically and directly at Spire, because I don't know. I don't know why Justin Haley caught a stray there, and that was interesting. But you can understand where he's coming from. Like, he didn't want to be forced out of this ride. He feels like the whole world's against him. But that being said, Corey LaJoie seems to be determined to take the speed run from beloved underdog driver that everybody liked. Remember back in the day when he was in the 32 with his face on the hood, the Old Spice advertisement and the commercials and stuff like that? Everybody loved Corey LaJoie back in the day. But if you took from that period to where we are now, he has almost done an absolute speed run in this last season alone to drive away some of the fans that really like him into not liking him. He's getting into that territory where he's just doing the he's going from kayfabe to heel, so, or babyface to heel, I guess we should say. So he's speed running that, and it's interesting. It's an interesting thing to watch play out, because, like I said, he went from being a guy that a lot of people liked to now he's a guy that a lot of people loathe, and it's just I didn't have that on my 2024 bingo card, I'll be honest with you. And Greg Biffle is racing ARCA on August 10th, so look out for that one. And yep, that's about all I got for you on this one. If you made it this far, I would love to have your subscription. If not, I'll keep making these things. If you already subscribed, you know I appreciate you all as well. If you got a question or comment or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section. I try to get to as many of them as I can. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.